Hey horror fans, and welcome back to October Horror Fest 2013. This is part 31 of October Horror Fest and will be the final Horror Fest review this year. However, there will be a closing remarks episode soon. Okay, today I'm going to talk about why our favorite horror villains are slumbering and not getting more films. Okay, first, let's look at the three main horror villains and a few others. Michael Myers in the Halloween series' last film was released back in 2009 and no new film has been produced. And the reason why? Politics and company image. Rob Zombie's H2 was an absolute disaster and no one liked it. But still, the next film is supposed to be in 3D, which would be the first Halloween film in 3D, so that sounds like a good idea. And apparently the script looks like it'd be a good film. But 4 years later, still nothing. Money and presentation are why this film hasn't been made yet. The company that produces the Halloween films want to make damn sure the next sequel is good, so they want a bunch of options on the table, which is dragging things out. Honestly, until Halloween 3D is ready to go, maybe they should focus on a closing chapter for the original series on a restricted budget. Friday the 13th, 2009, despite doing very well at the box office, had criticism, but the reason the sequel hasn't shown up is because Paramount and New Line couldn't agree on things, but luckily Paramount has the rights back, so we will likely be getting a new Friday the 13th film in the next year or so, and it will ironically be the 13th Friday the 13th film. A Nightmare on Elm Street, while very financially successful, also had a budget of $35 million, though I believe they could make a sequel for less, but because of negative reaction towards the film, New Line is not very excited about making a sequel, and now they will have to find a new actor to play Freddy Krueger. I believe a good sequel could come out, but a good script needs to be finished and pitched to New Line first, as well make the sequel on a cheaper budget. Scream 4 was a very good film, but also an expensive film. The film made $101 million at the box office, but cost $40 million to make. Now, the reason I think it didn't make $150 million is because it opened Easter weekend, and it had been 11 years since the last film, and it should have opened, I think, in July or August, or maybe September. The film made a good profit and fans like it, but clearly with such a high budget, there are concerns with another sequel, and while I feel the next sequel can be made cheaper, to keep the core cast will cost some money, but 25 to 30 million budget I feel is possible. When a Stranger Calls 2006 had a very good story and the film was well liked by horror fans, however, the critics trashed the film for no reason, and I already did a video on this, which I feel hurt box office earnings. Though on a budget of $50 million, managed to make almost $67 million. The film is very good and very well crafted and is a powerful horror thriller on the same quality as the original Halloween, and the sequel seems like an excellent idea, but thanks to bad critical reviews, Screen Gems cancelled their plans for a sequel, which is a bad thing. Okay, now I'm going to discuss another horror villain that got another chance. Seed of Chucky was okay, but it didn't do too well at the box office, though it did make money, but it had its problems. So the creators went back to the darker side of Chucky and created the direct-to-video masterpiece Curse of Chucky, which is an excellent film that everybody likes and everyone is mad because it didn't go to theaters. Okay, my point is they made this on a budget of $8 million and it will definitely make back the money in DVD and Blu-ray sales, so my point is if they can make a good Chucky film on a restricted smaller budget, and I'd say Michael, Jason, and Freddy and Mysterious Killer from When a Stranger Calls can all make comebacks on smaller budgets, just with more creativity given to the script and use what they have to work with to the most. Scream is the exception where the only way they can make it super cheap is without the original core cast, but that would be a bad move. However, I think they could still do a film on maybe 20 million if they really push it. The biggest issue is sending films to theaters is very expensive and it does create risks for studios. So making these more affordable direct-to-video releases might be the answer. Considering Curse of Chucky's performance, it might not be a bad idea. Though from time to time a theatrical release would also be a good move, because clearly the Halloween series going forward, they need a 3D film with a good story to get the Halloween reputation restored with its horror fans. Then direct-to-video releases can have a good success. Also, on more affordable budgets, and as long as sales are strong and the films are good, they could start making them on a fairly regular basis, maybe once every year or two. In the end, the studios need to get around the political BS and start thinking creatively just like I did. These series can all have very successful futures, just maybe huge budget theatrical releases aren't the answer anymore. Unless the story is really good. Hopefully we will start seeing our favorite horror villains again soon. This concludes October Horror Fest 2013, and I will have a final remarks video about October Horror Fest available very soon. This is the Entertainment Wizard, signing off.